Kettlebell snatches, full-on exercise, great exercise for general kettlebell conditioning. First things first with a kettlebell snatch, get your single arm swing right. All right, so generally working on some heavy single arm swings, it's going to help you a lot with performing a better snatch and getting a real strong pop in the hip, okay? So as it's been explained to me, now I'm not necessarily going to give you all the cues today because there's probably lots of things that I won't remember or will have missed out on, but nonetheless I'll go over the things that I feel like I remember well. 3 P's, it is the pop of the hips, the pull of the bell, and then punching through. I would say much like the kettlebell clean, as the kettlebell is coming up, it's staying relatively close to you. So it's not coming out. You'll see people do kettlebell snatches and they're literally got a straight arm and they're flipping over their wrists and smashing themselves here. They risk obviously overextending and hurting their lower back with that. So we want to make sure you guys avoid doing that. I'll show you what a snatch looks like first. Okay. I'm going to have the kettlebell turned in a little bit, much like doing a single arm swing, throwing it behind. Okay, so that's just with a 20. That's a bit of a lighter bell for me, but still challenging enough. So I hope you got a bit of a picture of what it looks like. So, as I said, the first thing, pop of the hips, pretty important. So you might need to warm up with a heavier bell and do some single arm swings with a heavier bell, or even a heavier bell than that and just doing some standard double arm swings just to get this pop happening. Next cue, right, is the pull of the bell, okay? So obviously getting the single arm swing right is really important. But from here, the pull coming up here, the kettlebell bottom would be sticking out this way, all right? And again, see how my arm's not extended all the way out that way? That's really important. So I'm going to pop, pull of the bell, and then from there, you're putting it all together with a punch through. So what you might need to work on after you've done your single arm swing is the kettlebell high pull. So there's a couple of variations. It changed in the RKC from what I understand. They used to teach the pull of the bell with like your elbow coming back like as if you were trying to strike someone with your elbow that was standing just behind you. What they tend to teach now, from what I understand, is pulling the bell up this way, okay, rather than pulling your arm back like so. So this is where I'm saying you might have to video yourself. It's not really ideal to watch yourself in the mirror, but you might need to. But pulling the bell to here and doing a few high pull reps will help you with your technique, okay? So from here, I'm just going to do, so I'm still popping my hip strong, but I'm just guiding it up to that level, okay? So I hope you can see it there again, just where the high pull is. Just going to tuck these away, they're smacking into my face. So that's a high pull. And then the next bit is punching it through. So the tricky part about this is from here getting you guys to understand the kettlebell is meant to come around the wrist a little bit more rather than coming over and smacking you in the back of the wrist. That's where, when you're putting it together, a strong punch through vertically is going to help you a lot. The errors that I see people make is they might get to here and they punch almost too low. So they almost turn it into a kettlebell like fast sort of cleaner press, which is what we don't want. So looking at it, putting it together, again, it's a punch and punch and punch. Now I'm just going to hold it here for the moment. Arms nice and vertical, wrists nice and straight. The cue I tell people to do is sort of tip the glass of water out, almost sort of throw it into your groin and then throw it behind you. You might need to even practice that position, doing that with your kettlebell and throwing it behind you for a bit and putting it down. So literally lifting up the belt and doing that, so reverse engineering the snatch in order to get it back up again, okay? So I'll show you what I mean. I'll lift it up from here, catch it with my hip, doing that a few times. Then from there, just reversing it back up. All right, now one of the sequences that we do to, again, initiate doing some snatches is 3 swings, 3 high pulls to 3 snatches. Now you're not necessarily going to get this right the first time. Like everything, it's just going to take you practice. At the top, make sure you're not going back like this. Make sure your arm is nice and straight and not shooting off at this sort of angle as well, okay? So your glutes and abs need to be on a bit at the top. This is where having the right shoulder mobility or working on, say, the Turkish get-up for a generous amount of reps to try and make sure that you're nice and strong and stable in this overhead position is going to be pretty important. So I'll just show you what that chain or sequence looks like. All right? It's actually not a chain, it's a kettlebell complex, I should call it. So from here, bell turned in a bit. 3 swings, 1, 2, 3. 3 high pulls, 1, 2, 3. And then trying to put it together. 1, 2, 3. Now, the last thing I'll point out, when you throw it behind you, try and lock out your elbow. If it's too bent, you're just putting a lot of pressure through there. You can have some elbow problems in general after it because you're flexing so much. I think that's about it. That's the kettlebell snatch. I'll show you what a few more look like on the left arm. Okay. What I will say, when you're throwing it behind you, I'm not that great at it. You will callus up a bit. One of the tricky parts is trying to get the bell to sort of almost skip over your callus into your fingers, and then obviously coming back over into that position there. Something for you to play around with. Anyhow, that's got my heart rate up already. That's the kettlebell snatch. You might need to reach out, but give it a shot anyhow.